Look up on a clear night, and you're staring at a fraction of a universe containing billions of galaxies. Each of those galaxies holds billions of stars, many ringed by their own planetary systems. The sheer math of probability makes it difficult to believe that Earth is the only cradle of life in all that vastness. Yet, for decades, taking that mathematical reality seriously could ruin a professional reputation. The question of whether we are alone was actively pushed to the fringes of internet forums, dismissed as a tinfoil hat conspiracy or confined strictly to science fiction. That stigma thrived in an information vacuum. Strict government secrecy and classified internal memos, stretching back to the mid-20th century and the tenure of FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, created a blank space where public suspicion and wild speculation could flourish. That dynamic broke in May 2026. Following an executive directive from President Donald Trump, the government initiated the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, or PURSUE, directly ordering the declassification of these long-hidden records. The Department of War responded by releasing over 160 files detailing historical cases of unidentified anomalous phenomena. These documents, previously locked behind high-level classifications, contain reports from military pilots, sensor data, and highly trained personnel. The government is officially acknowledging that there are objects in our skies they simply cannot identify. While this falls short of confirming extraterrestrial visitors, it moves the institution from a posture of denial to one of active transparency. Some of the most surprising documents in the declassified archive don't come from Earth's atmosphere. They come from the transcripts of the Apollo missions, placing these unexplained encounters in the complete isolation of deep space. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, astronaut Buzz Aldrin formally reported observing an unusual, fairly bright light source tracking outside his spacecraft, which he and the crew tentatively compared to a laser. A few months later on Apollo 12, astronaut Alan Bean documented seeing mysterious flashes of light and unexplained particles that appeared to be actively escaping the lunar surface and sailing off into the void. And during the final crewed moon landing in 1972, Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt reported seeing sudden bright sparks outside the ship, comparing the intense visual display to the 4th of July. None of these astronauts claimed they were looking at alien spacecraft. They may have been observing space debris, ice particles, or optical illusions. But the fact that these anomalies were logged, classified, and taken seriously by mission control shows that humanity's most highly trained observers encountered genuine mysteries out there. Back inside Earth's atmosphere, the archive details a different kind of mystery. The files contain numerous reports from modern military sensors tracking objects that execute maneuvers completely outside the bounds of known aviation. A declassified State Department pable details a 1994 incident over Kazakhstan, where a Tajik pilot and 3 Americans observed a brightly lit object executing rapid corkscrews and instantaneous 90-degree turns at high altitude. This radar visualization illustrates reports from 2022 and 2023, where intelligence officials in the Middle East tracked what they described as super hot orbs moving erratically across military landscapes. Looking at this velocity chart, we can see the anomaly in their movement. These objects were recorded traveling at hundreds of miles per hour, with the data showing massive, instant spikes in speed that lack any of the standard acceleration curves or propulsion heat signatures produced by human-made jets. Mainstream astrophysicists like Harvard's Avi Loeb emphasize caution. Researchers point out that many of these sightings are eventually traced back to conventional sources, everything from weather balloons and optical diffraction in hot jet engines to simple sensor glitches. Even with those conventional explanations accounting for the majority of sightings, a stubborn percentage remains unresolved. The sheer volume of rigorous military documentation proves the government is finally compiling hard data on objects that consistently defy our current understanding of physics. The PURSUE document dump builds a vital architecture of transparency. It moves the discussion beyond a search for easy answers and provides the foundation for society to finally look for them. By removing the rigid classification labels, the military is taking the study of anomalous phenomena out of secret, isolated silos and placing the raw data directly in front of the public. This means that unresolved encounters can now be subjected to rigorous, open scientific debate. Private sector scientists, leading university researchers, and civilian experts can finally analyze the same data the government has held onto for decades. Confronting the unknown with intellectual honesty marks a shift in our cultural maturity. We are beginning to examine these encounters directly, moving past the ridicule and stigma that previously defined the conversation. In a time when our attention is so heavily focused on terrestrial conflicts and immediate crises, the United States government has officially given us permission to be curious. They have legitimized wonder, proving that looking up at the stars and asking if someone else is looking back might be exactly the perspective humanity needs.